When buying a new construction home, what are the pros and cons to consider when buying a spec home? Hey, Jose here, your SoCal Realtor. If you're even thinking about buying or selling a home, don't hesitate to reach out. My team and we are here and ready to help you with your real estate needs. Okay, so first of all, what exactly is a spec home? A spec home or speculation home, or in fact, actually, I've also heard it called inventory home, but these are homes where the builder, they've already built the home, or maybe they haven't already built it, but it's in the process of being built. It's scheduled to be completed here in a pretty short time frame. But these are homes where the builder's already decided everything. They've decided what floor plan they're going to go with. They've decided what, if any, upgrades they're going to include in the home. But there are a few pros and cons to buying a spec or inventory home, and let's dive into those. When you're buying a new construction home, not a spec home, well, this is a home that hasn't been built yet, so it's going to take a little longer.
It's not ready yet.
A new home typically takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months to complete, and if there's any delays, and sometimes there can be, it's not very common, but sometimes there can be, and if there are any delays in the building of that home, it definitely can take a little longer. In fact, I've seen that sometimes where it can hit as much as a year before the home's ready. But with a spec home or inventory home, they're already done, they're already built, or almost built, right? Maybe they're a couple of months away from being done, but either way though, they offer a much faster move-in time. Of course, there's still the escrow. I mean, you still have to go through that, and typically you're looking about like 30 days for the escrow. But with a spec home, your brand new home is probably going to be ready for you to move in as soon as you close escrow. When you buy a new build home, again, this is a home that hasn't been started yet, they haven't started building, but you get to make a ton of choices about your new home. From the location of the lot, to the floor plan, to the upgrades that are in the home, there are usually quite a few options that are available for you with your new home, but they come with a cost. The lot that you choose, that can have an additional cost depending on which direction your lot faces. Maybe it's sunrise, sunset, whatever it is. Maybe it's a corner lot, whatever that is, that could have an additional lot premium charged on top of that. Or what about the floor plan? Because this floor plan might cost a little bit more than this floor plan, or even the upgrades that you go with. Those are going to have an additional cost too, depending of course on which upgrades you do choose. But when you purchase a spec home, they're already built, or almost built. But the point is though, is all those choices have been made. We know exactly the lot. We know exactly what the cost on that's going to be. We know exactly the floor plan, so we know that cost. All the upgrades have been decided on, so we know what those costs are going to be. In other words, we know exactly what the cost is going to be for that home from the very beginning. Listen, getting to review all the options and upgrades that they have at the Design Center, it is absolutely exciting. Trust me, the options that they have, they are nothing short of gorgeous. But trust me, this is the point where the sales price for that new home, it can absolutely shoot up pretty quickly. Again though, with a spec home or inventory home, all those choices, all those decisions have already been made. They've already been put into the home. It's been priced accordingly. In other words, you know exactly what the price of that home's going to be from the very beginning.
What'll it cost, man? What'll it cost?
It's not uncommon for builders to offer a few extra incentives on spec homes. Again, these are inventory homes, and if they're fully built and unsold, then that's unsold inventory that's just sitting there for the builder. With a new build home or a non-spec home, those are homes that are being built as they're sold. In other words, I walk into the sales office, I look at their models, I say, okay, this is the model I like. They show me on the board, well, that model is going to be built in these lot locations. I say, great, well, I want that lot then. And then, great, okay, fill out the sales documents and the builder's off building my new home. But a spec home, well, those homes are already built. So oftentimes a builder, they might be a little more eager to get those homes sold. Don't misunderstand me though, because I'm not saying that the builders are overly anxious to get their spec home sold. Unless of course it's been sitting there for a while, then, well, maybe. What I am saying though is just, it's not entirely uncommon to be able to get extra incentives when purchasing a spec home. Maybe they're offering a little bit more credit towards your closing costs, whatever it is. Just my point is just simply this. It is possible to get a little bit of extra incentives when purchasing a spec home. I'm sure I already know what you're thinking. How, Jose? If this spec home is still in the process of being built, whether it's due to be built, completed this month, next month, whatever it is, but if it's still in the process of being built, trust me, that builder is much less than likely to be willing to negotiate with you when it comes to the pricing. If you're purchasing a new build home that's not a spec home, meaning you're getting to choose the lot, the floor plan, the upgrades, etc., yeah, I would not expect the builder to do any negotiating on the price of that home either. But if we're talking about a spec home or inventory home and it's fully built, it's been sitting there for a little while now, maybe a few months, and they have not been able to get it sold, and yeah, there might be a little more room to negotiate with the builder on that home. Typically, from what I've seen, if they are willing to negotiate with you, they're probably not going to be very likely to negotiate on the price. That's probably going to be just what it is. But again, going back to what we were talking about when it comes to incentives. Now, they can't give you an incentive toward like upgrades, oh, we'll upgrade your flooring because too late, right? The house is already built. But maybe they're willing to negotiate and offer a little bit of extra incentive toward extra money toward closing cost, or maybe helping you buy down your interest rate a little bit more, just whatever. What do I mean by this one? A non-spec home. Again, this is a home where you get to sit down with the design center and do all the customizing choices and options for your new home, but it's going to require some decisions and some choices, such as which cabinets do we like better? Or do we stick with the standard carpeting? Or should we consider maybe one of the upgraded flooring options they have? And if we do go with the flooring options, which ones? What about the countertops? Should we go with the quartz? Or should we include the backsplash behind that? There are so many options they're going to present to you, and they're all beautiful. But which ones do you say yes to? Which ones do you say no to? Which colors do you go with? There's a ton of decisions that need to be made. But with a spec home though, well, the builders made all those decisions for you. And they didn't just pick stuff at random. At least not from what I've seen anyway. They have their professional design team review all the highest trending demand, the more popular upgrades for the area at that time. Now, they don't usually load up the home with all the latest trends, but those are the choices that they typically will look at though. This allows you to have a brand new home with some of the hottest trending upgrades in your home without having to sit down with the design center, without having to say, okay, these ones we like, these ones we don't, which ones actually fit in our budget. And trust me, that right there, that can sometimes be an hours-long adventure. Oh, real quick though, if you are planning to buy a new construction home, whether it's a spec home or not a spec home, that doesn't matter. But if you are planning to buy a new construction home, always be sure to have your agent with you on your very first visit to that sales office. Because if you don't, that builder is not very likely to allow you to bring your agent with you later. And now you're going to go through that process unrepresented. Of course, there are a few cons to buying a spec home, and a few of those are... We actually already hit on this one. This is a home where the builders already made all the decisions, from the lot location to what floor plan they're going to build to what upgrades they're going to include. It's all already been decided by the builder. However, there may be some customizing options available for you. Of course, it all depends on where they're at in the process of building that house. It's just that there's not likely to be too many options available for you. I actually kind of hit on this one just a moment ago too, and that is when you go down to the sales office and they say, okay, right over there, go look at our models. You look at the model homes and you decide, this is the model we like. Go back to the sales office and let them know. They let you know which lots are available for that model, and well, you get to choose which lot location you want.
I'll take that one.
The lot options, they aren't necessarily endless, but there are usually a few different options available to choose from. But with a spec home, you don't get that choice. You get the lot location wherever it is that they chose to build that spec home. If they made all the choices, there's always the chance that they chose upgrades that might be beautiful, but they aren't necessarily the ones that you would have chose. Maybe they put beautiful granite countertops in the kitchen, but you don't like the backsplash they went with. Or maybe they put really nice wood flooring in, but you had your eye on tile flooring. Whatever it is, the choices that they went with, they may look nice. It's just that there is always the chance that it may not be the choices that you would have gone with. sometimes the upgrades that they do select can feel generic.
What is this?
The reason I say that is because while builders do typically go with the more trending or popular upgrades that buyers are choosing, and they're usually very nice, which is probably why they're the more popular upgrades that people are choosing. The downside to that, of course, is those upgrades might be just a little too popular, meaning there's too many houses that have many of those same upgrades. And listen, for many people it might not be a big deal, but for others it might be. I know I just mentioned earlier about how spec homes, they eliminate the question marks when it comes to the sales price because, well, everything's been chosen. The lot location's already chosen, the floor plan is already chosen, upgrades that are going to be in the house, all that's already been chosen. So the final sales price for that house, it's already set, it's already chosen. Here's the thing though. Let's say you look at that spec home and you love everything about that home with one exception. Maybe you're not really loving that wood flooring that they went with. Well, if you don't like it enough, meaning, you're thinking, okay, we're going to buy the house, but after we buy it, yeah, that wood flooring's gone. We're going to replace it with, I don't know, maybe different type of wood or tile or whatever it is that you prefer. You're going to replace it. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest though, listen, it's probably not one of the most common cons for a spec home. Honestly, not at all. But if that flooring or whatever, I mean, flooring obviously is my example here, but if that's a big enough deal for you, then yeah, that's going to become an extra cost for you to change later. Of course, though, if you do have any questions at all, or if maybe you are thinking about buying or selling a home here in, or just anywhere near the Inland Empire, my contact information is below. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, until then, catch you on the next one.